Hi, welcome to Bedtime Bible Stories. I am your narrator, your personal pretend prophet, Nikki K. the Great, because I'm awesome. Yo, so take your pills, pack your bowl, grab your smokes, get comfy, and then grab your bedtime beverage, your nightly reward for keeping people alive. Because, that's highly important, keeping people alive. Now, let's smoke it, drink it, and read it. What do you think? So, I did something new. Well, two things new, really. One was I wrote an introduction, and then I moved the SS Lazy over here with the cat food. Captain does not know I moved her boat, but she will find out. I've been trying to call her and show her, but she won't come. So she's gonna be super fucking surprised. Like, surprise! I moved the SS Lazy Ass. Oh, and all of her shipmates are right over there in the corner. So they're still there. So now that that's over with, we are on Samuel chapter or Second Samuel chapter 18, and I don't know how many chapters are in this book, by the way. Why don't we find out? 24 chapters. That's not bad. So where we left off, they had just sold. They had just sold what's his ass to attack, but only killed David because David is a motherfucker and he is scary and nobody's gonna want to fight that guy. So, you know, we gotta kill him quickly. And then somebody ran and told David, I think it was Abishai's son. So, see, look at this. You're reading, I know you're reading, here's a coupon. So, now, David mustered the men who were with him and set over them commanders of thousands and of hundreds. And David divided the army into three groups. One third under Joab, the other, another third on Abishai, and another third under the command of Ittai. This sucked. Look at that. Look. Hey, you need a coupon. I know you do. You're reading. So you definitely need a coupon. So, it. Do you need in here? No. Okay. So, it's a tie. Remember, he's the dude that David's like, hey, you can go. And then he said the most romantic thing, I will go with you even in death. It was so beautiful. I love that guy. Anyway, the men said, you shall not go out, for if we flee, they will not care about us. Half of us, if half of us die, they will not care. But you are worth 10,000 of us. Therefore, it is better that you send us help from the city. And then David's like, whatever you guys want. So the king stood at the side of the gate while the army marched out by hundreds and thousands. The king ordered Joab and Abishai, and Itete. Say, oh, yeah, okay, here we go. This is some shit. Okay. It's about to get to the really fucking good part. Okay. Give me just a second. I promise it's going to be so worth it. So smoke a cigarette real quick. Press pause and smoke a cigarette, and I will be back in just a second. Alright, you feel better now? Listen. It's about to be good. It's about to be so worth that cigarette break. Okay. So the king ordered the three commanders, saying, deal gently for my sake with Absalom. All the people heard what the king heard. So everybody heard when the king said, hey, kind of be nice to Absalom, please. Just bring him back. So the army went out into the field against Israel, and the battle was fought in the forest of Ephraim. The men of Israel were defeated there by the servants of David, and the slaughter was great on that day, 20,000 men. The battle spread over the face of all the country, and the forest claimed more victims on that day than the sword. Wait, hold on. The men of Israel were defeated by the servants of David, and the slaughter there was great on that day, 20,000 men. The battle spread all over the face of the country, and the forest claimed more victims that day than the sword. What does that even mean? What does it mean? What does that even mean? Absalom happened to meet the servants of David. Absalom was riding on his mule, and the mule went under thick branches of a great oak, and his head was caught in the oak, and he was left hanging between heaven and earth, while on the mule that was under him went on. So he stuck in a tree branch by his head. Oh my God. Okay. A man saw it and told Joab, I saw Absalom. He's hanging in the oak. Like, literally, it's the funniest shit you'll ever see in your life. So Joab said to the man, what? You saw him? Why then did you not strike him there on the ground? I would have been glad to give you 10 pieces of silver and a belt, so you won't have to wear a dress no more. Or a really long ass t-shirt. That's a better explanation. But the man said, even if I felt in my hand the weight of 1,000 pieces of silver, I would not raise my hand against the king's son. For in our hearing, the king commanded you, and all the commanders saying, for my sake, protect the young man Absalom. He didn't exactly say that, but he kinda said that, I guess. On the other hand, if I had dealt treacherously against his life, and there is nothing hidden for the king, then you yourself would have stood aloof. Joab said, I will not waste my time like this with you. He took there. He took 3 spears in his hand and thrust them into the heart of Absalom. What? This guy. While he was still alive in the oak, And 10 young men, Joab's armor bearers, surrounded Absalom and struck him and killed him. When Joab sounded the trumpet and the troops came back, see, there's something about this trumpet. Something about blowing the trumpet. Somebody that's a leader needs to blow a trumpet on a mountain or something. Then, sorry, it was in my face and it was bothering the piss out of me. Okay, so Joab sounded the trumpet and the troops came back and Joab restrained the troops. They took Absalom, threw him in a great pit in the forest, and raised over him a very great heap of stones. Meanwhile, all the Israelites fled to their home. Now, Absalom in his lifetime had set up for himself a pillar that is in the king's valley, for he said, I have no son to keep my name. He called the pillar by his own name. It is called Absalom's Monument to this day. I don't know that because I don't know what Israel looks like. Then Ahimaaz said, let me run and carry things to the king that the Lord has delivered him from the power of his enemies. And Joab said, no, not you. You may carry tidings another day, but you, nope. Then Joab said, go tell the king what you have seen. So he took off. Then Ahimaaz said again to Joab, come what may, let me run after the Cushite. And Joab said, why will you run, my son, seeing that you have no reward for the tidings? Come what he said, come what may, he said, I'm going to run. And then Joab's like, go ahead. So Ahimaaz ran by the way of the plain and outran the Cushite. Now David was sitting between the two gates. The sentinel went up on the roof, and when he looked up, he saw a man running. Then the sentinel shouted. He said, if he is alone, there are tidings in his mouth. And he kept coming and drew near. The sentinel saw another man, and the sentinel called to the gatekeeper and said, another dude is coming. And David was like, he's also going to tell me some shit. Then the sentinel said, I think the running of the first is like the running of Ahimaaz. And the king said, okay, he can come. Then Ahimaaz cried out to the king, all is well, and he did the face thing and said, blessed be the Lord your God who has delivered up the men who raised their hand against the Lord my king. And the king said, what about Absalom? And Ahimaaz said, Joab kind of killed him, and then everybody else killed him. It was like a whole thing. And then they threw him in a hole and stuck some rocks on him. And the king said, turn around, turn over here, and just wait. And the Cushite came, and he said, there's good news because you're vindicated today. Yup. And the king's like, what about Absalom? And the Cushite said, oh, okay, what'd he say? Okay, maybe, okay. And then he was like, what about Absalom? Hold on, wait a minute. May the enemies of my Lord, the king, and all rise up, and all who rise up to do your harm, be like that young man. Okay, so that must mean he's dead. So the king was deeply moved and went up to the chamber over the gate. Oh, this motherfucker. See, David is out of control. Okay, so they both told him he was dead. It's just the one said Joab did it. The king was deeply moved and went up to the chamber over the gate and wept. As he went, he said, oh, Absalom, my son, I'm so sad. Oh, Absolom, I'm gonna die, Absolom. I got a bazillion other kids, but Absolom, you killed my oldest, but Absolom. So somebody told Joab, like, the king said his fuck dude. So, like, we can't even celebrate. That's gay. Okay. Then the king covered his face in the crowd, and he kept crying, oh, Absalom. I bet he was extra too, like, Absalom, flinging his arms all over the place, being like way fucking extra. So Joab came in and slammed the door, like, knocked him out of his stupidness for a second, and he was like, yo, listen here, motherfucker. You're a motherfucker. Listen. Everybody just risked their life to save you. And you're gonna cry for the enemy. So, like, fuck you all the way, hot shit. No. And he killed your son and fucked your chicks. Like, what? Really? I can't even handle you right now. We're supposed to be playing big band swing music, and you're just acting like a complete bitch. The fuck is wrong with you? Right? Oh, yeah, and this one he tells him, like, I will kick your fucking ass. You go out there and apologize to these motherfuckers. Because all of them are sad because you're being a bitch about the enemy. Like, piss off and go say you're sorry. Then Then the king got up and took his seat in the gate. The troops were all told, look, the king's at the gate. And all the kings came before the gate. Meanwhile, all the Israelites fled to their homes. And all the people were disputing throughout all the tribes. The king has delivered us from the hand of our enemies and saved us from the hands of the Philistines. Now he has fled out of the land because of Absalom. Like this motherfucker, right? Like, what? Nobody does that. Who does that, man? No, this guy. And they said, But Absolom, whom we anointed over us, is dead in battle. Now, therefore, why do you say nothing about bringing him back? So King D sent his message to the priests Zadok and Abiathar. Say to the elders of Judah, why should you be the last to bring the king back to his house? The talk of Israel has come to the king. You are my kin, you are my bone and my flesh. Listen, this is a great DMX album. It's got one of the greatest fucking gangster rap songs ever on it. This, Flesh of My Flesh and Bone of My Bone. It's a great DMX album. Okay. And say to Amasa, are you not my bone and my flesh? So may God do to me and more, if you are not the commander of my army from now on in place of Joab. Yeah, but why though? Oh, this motherfucker. See, David's a motherfucker. Amasa swayed by the hearts of all the people of Judah as one, and they sent word to the king. Go ahead, go back, we apologize. So the king came back to the Jordan, and Judah came to Gilgal to meet the king and bring him over the Jordan. This guy. Okay. Shimei, son of Gera, the Benjamite from Bahirim, hurried to come down to the people of Judah to meet King David. With him were 1,000 people from Benjamin, and Ziba, the servant of the house of Saul, with 15 sons and 20 servants, rushed down to the Jordan ahead of the king. While the crossing was taking place, to bring over the king's household and do his pleasure, Shimei, son of Gera, did the face thing. He was about to cross the Jordan. No, he did the face thing as he was about to cross the Jordan, and said to the king, May my Lord not hold me guilty, or remember how your servant did wrong on the day my Lord King left Jerusalem. May the king not bear it in mind. For your servant knows that I have sinned. Therefore, see, I have come this day, the first of all the house of Joseph, to come down to meet you. Abishai, son of Zeruiah, answered, shouldn't he be put to death? Right? Like, he's cursing God's people, like, he should die. And then David, once again, he's like, will you murderers shut the fuck up? Like, I don't want to be associated with your kind of murdering. I only want to be associated with my kind of murdering. You know, having people ordered to be murdered, not just murdering them. See, I asked first. I think. I might not have. Never mind. You should have asked first. Okay? Shall Shall anyone be put to death in Israel today? For do I not know that I am this day, KOI? The king said to Shimei, you're not gonna die. And Mephi, grandson of Saul, came to meet the king. He had not taken care of his feet, trimmed his beard, or washed his clothes from the day the king left until he came back in safety. Okay. When he came from Jerusalem to meet the king said, "Why didn't you go?" And he said, "Ziba deceived me. He went without me. He wouldn't even give me dress." Right? For, okay, so he tricked me, right? For all my father's house were doomed to death before my lord the king. But you set your servant among those who eat at your table. What further right have I then to appeal to the king? And then David was like, "Why are you talking like that? I don't care about that. I have decided you and Ziba are just gonna, you guys are gonna split it and deal with it." So Mephi said, "He can have it all since you have come safely." See, I don't understand. Both these guys are Jews, right? So both of them are sneaky. So maybe like they're doing it to each other to see who wins. And David's like, "I'm not even fucking playing this game." Now, Barzillai, the Gittite, had come down from Rogan. He went on with the king to the Jordan to escort him over. But Barzillai was a very aged man. He was 80. He had provided the king with food while he stayed at Mahanaim, for he was a very wealthy man. Go Barzillai! So the king was like, "Why don't you come over with me? I'll take care of you." And Barzillai was like, "I don't got much time left. No, I don't. No, 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 no. I can't do it." Right? I can't hear nothing. I can't see nothing. No, I'm not going to be a burden to you. I'll go a little of the way with you, but I'm not going all the way. I need to go home and I need to die at home, right? But here is your servant, Chimham. He can go over with you in my place, right? Like you'll do whatever you want. And the king said, "Okay, and I will take care of those guys. It'll be good." Then all the people crossed over the Jordan, and the king crossed over and kissed Barzillai. And he was like, "Hey, did you see? I'm a nice guy. Did you see? I'm a nice guy. I'm doing nice guy things because I'm such a nice guy." Right? And then everybody went, or he went home, Barzillai. So the king went down to Gilgal, and Chimham went on with him. All the people of Judah and half the people of Israel brought the king on his way. Wonder if they were playing instruments. Then all the people of Israel came to the king and said, this is when they split into. This is when they split into. Okay. Then all the people of Israel came to the king and said, "Why are you hanging out with these guys? Fuck these guys. You hang out with this guy, but no, you hang out with that guy. You're gay." Right? All the people of Judah answered and were like, because like this is where he's from. Like, do you know his story? He's from here, right? Like, his whole city of David is here, man. Yeah, he wanted to live here. God told him to live here, right? This is motherfucking Zion, dude. But the people of Israel were like, we have 10 shares in the king. Like his mom is an Israelite, probably. Or his grandma. Like there's at least a few women in his family that are Israeli. You Judeans don't get it, right? Because his dad's one generation Judah. I don't know if that's what it is or not, but they're fighting like fucking kids. So they were like, we have more than you. We were not the first to speak. No, were we not the first to speak about bringing back a king? But the words of the Judah were fiercer than the words of the people of Israel. They was like, fuck you. His whole motherfucking house is here. Kiss my ass. What do you mean? Get Israel. He doesn't even have a house there. Man, you guys suck and you're dumb. Alright, damn. I don't know how many chapters that was. I don't even know where we're at. Like 20, 18, 19. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Don't forget to press like and press subscribe. But you should press like because I do a lot of these videos because it is great telling these Bible stories, especially when you don't gotta hear a lot of preachy shit from a dude who's got gray hair. So I got that going for me. I don't have gray hair yet. I have blue hair. So anyway, thank you for watching. I love you and have the sweetest dreams ever.